will always ask, do I need to hold these threads when I start to sew? And now you really don't. And let me explain why. Number one, with a computerized machine, when you let the machine stop with the needle at its highest position, or just pretty much use the thread cutter at all times, the stitch is complete, meaning as the needle comes up, the take-up lever, this little guy right here, comes up to hit its highest position. One of the things you don't see me do in these videos is usually hold onto my thread when I start to sew, nor do I reach over here and turn this hand wheel. I'm always going to let the machine kind of do the work for me, whether I use the needle up down button, my presser foot, or I should say my foot control, or one of these buttons here to let the machine finish in its optimum place. Then that way, because you finished the stitch from the last time, when you go to sew, the take-up lever is right at the top of the stitch. Now, so many times, and this is what people get in trouble, it's like right now the needle is down, and they come over here and they bring the needle up. The only problem is they don't bring the take-up lever all the way up to the highest position. So even though the needle's up and you pull the fabric out, you cut your threads, the take-up lever is still going to be finishing the last stitch, and that's where that thread gets pulled out of the needle, and that's why people hold their threads, and that just is a whole area that we can just avoid by letting the machine finish the stitch. So whether I stop with the needle down and use the thread cutter, cuts the thread, brings the needle up, but it also, if you look in here, it'll bring the take-up lever to its highest position. Then all I need to do is set my fabric back in there and sew. Part of the foot is sitting on the thread that was left here. It technically almost doesn't even need to do that because the stitch is going to go straight down and not still be finishing the last stitch. So once again, if you can eliminate touching your hand wheel, unless you absolutely have to, I use it like when I'm trying to start a stitch right on a certain point. I'm going to lower that down and just make sure I'm coming down on my mark. That's the only time that you'll really see me do that. Otherwise, the machine is just I'm going to step on the foot control, the machine will take its first stitch, and away we go. So we'll just use the thread cutter, and that will make the stitch come to a completed stitch without any trouble for the next time I start to sew.